Well, a long wait anticipated for international travel to reopen. Judging by the latest travel restrictions, both public and private airports feeling the brunt of this with a dramatic decrease in travellers. Those travelling for business aren't restricted. Reporter Nkosazana Dambuza is tracking the story. She joins us live now. Nkosazana, thank you so much for joining us. So you were at eNCA today. What's it like there?
Well, Sally, the situation is dire at eNCA Airport in terms of business operations. They've been greatly impacted by the travel restrictions. Very few planes operating. I only saw one Kulula.com airplane taking off with only a few passengers on board, not enough to even fill half of the plane. And this is the reality of many airports and airlines, due to the increasing cases of COVID-19 and the tightened restrictions. And of course, now the question becomes, how long will these airlines be able to stay afloat during level 4 of the lockdown? And I spoke to the CEO of the eNCA Airport, and he says he believes that not many of the airlines will be able to survive if the restrictions are not lifted anytime soon. But let's take a listen to the CEO of eNCA Airport.
It's not sustainable. Airlines make money through the number of passengers that they actually transport on a daily basis. And for now, when the numbers are 40% of their load factors, is really not sustainable. I don't think that they'll be able to even recover some of their costs. I would not be surprised if some of these airlines actually suspend operations. We've seen recently that Lyft has actually announced that it's going to suspend their operations. We really need an uptick in terms of this, and for now, I can't see the airlines surviving under these trading conditions.
And of course, I suppose it hits home how central to everything Gauteng is, because we know that the travel restrictions just affect travel in and out of Gauteng because of how badly we're coping with the latest wave of COVID infections. But we've heard announcements from Lyft, Kulula, Fly South Air, Come. Just tell us a little bit more about the changes that have had to be made.
Well, after President Cyril Ramaphosa announced the move to the level 4 lockdown, we know that Lyft Airlines took a decision to ground all its flights until August. And we now know that Come as well has published a statement today saying that all Kulula.com and British Airways flights will be suspended for the next 3 weeks, starting on the 5th of July. Meanwhile, Fly South Air has decided to change its scheduled flights, and they're also offering to return to customers the monies that they had used to purchase tickets prior to the announcement of the level 4 lockdown. But let's take a listen to Fly South Air's Kirby Gordon.
So at Fly South Air, what we've done is we've had to trim our schedule slightly. You mentioned the curfew changes, and of course that also impacts flights, particularly those later on in the day. And then we've also had to open up the option to all of our customers to do penalty-free changes for later dates, and of course to have refunds to wallet on their flights that they may have had planned for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, so really it's just more disruption, and anyone who was hoping to legitimately fly, it's going to be even more problematic. And I think that the message for consumers really in Nkosazana is just check absolutely every flight detail you might have made to understand the rules clearly. Make direct contact with the airline to make sure that you've got those vouchers so you can redeem them at some point. Thank you so much for bringing us that really important update on the situation regarding our airlines. It is a very difficult situation, but it certainly hits home that if Gauteng has to shut down, it does have a massive impact on business around the country.